A sudden burst of speed from a grizzly bear is enough to change the rhythm of an entire forest. It does not simply pursue a target. Its presence alone can draw everything nearby into a field of pressure. Its strength comes from a massive frame, powerful shoulders, and an exceptionally refined sense of smell. When a grizzly bear turns its territory into a proving ground, what creature would willingly choose to stand its ground? The encounter between a solitary grizzly bear and a pack of gray wolves stands among the most intense displays of balance across the wild landscapes of North America. When a wolf pack has just secured a large elk, the scent of food quickly spreads through the valley, attracting a grizzly bear from miles away. It does not arrive in secrecy, but walks directly into the center with the presence of a dominant force. The wolves immediately spread out, maintaining distance, while applying pressure from several directions. Younger members move to the front as distractions, while experienced individuals quietly assess opportunities along the flanks. To hold its position, the grizzly lowers its center of gravity, settles over the food source, and uses forceful, defensive movements capable of tremendous power. The wolves recognize the danger and choose to pull back, waiting patiently while preserving their energy. The balance shifts when survival priorities turn toward protecting dens in late spring. Emerging from hibernation with depleted energy reserves, a grizzly may approach wolf den sites in search of vulnerable young. With no option to retreat, the pack responds with coordinated intensity, forming a disciplined, defensive line around the next generation. In time, the larger animal recognizes the growing cost of the encounter and begins to withdraw cautiously. In the wild, this type of encounter rarely produces a clear winner or loser. Instead, it reflects a delicate balance shaped by nature itself. Across the valleys of North America, herds of elk move in groups through open grasslands, pine forests, and the edges of cold rivers. An adult elk can weigh around 720 pounds strong and alert enough to force any predator to depend on a combination of power, patience, and an understanding of the terrain. In late spring, the grizzly bear relies on its exceptional sense of smell to search open pine areas, where elk mothers often conceal newborn calves weighing about 40 pounds. As the scent trail grows stronger, the bear accelerates in short bursts, creating pressure that forces the mother to repeatedly change direction while shielding her young. In those moments, the difference in size, strength, and experience begins to influence the balance. By summer, adult elk reach peak condition and can run up to about 46 miles per hour. At this stage, the grizzly does not rely on sustained speed over long distances. Instead, it guides the target toward natural obstacles, such as fast-moving water, slippery gravel banks, or narrow forest corridors. Uneven ground reduces the elk's advantage, while the bear's swimming ability and claws, reaching about 5 inches in length, help it maintain pressure at close range. The encounter unfolds within only a few tense moments. When the elk loses its rhythm, The grizzly gains control through strength, position, and timing. An adult elk represents a major energy source, capable of providing more than 110,000 calories to sustain the bear for several days. The grizzly often stores part of this resource beneath soil or vegetation, preserving it for future use. In a demanding natural world, success does not belong to the fastest animal alone. It belongs to the one that understands the landscape, conserves energy, and adapts its strategy at exactly the right moment. The most intense confrontations for a grizzly bear do not always come from prey or rival predators, but from members of its own species. When resources become limited, the breeding season arrives, or access to food is contested, an animal that usually lives alone can become highly assertive. In that environment, strength is used not only for hunting, but also for defining boundaries and maintaining position. When a female enters the breeding season, the rhythm of a quiet territory can change quickly. Two massive males rise onto their hind legs to display size and project dominance through deep vocalizations. If neither individual backs down, the encounter develops into a powerful contest of strength. They drive into one another with tremendous force, using jaws capable of exerting around 1,300 pounds per square inch to establish control. Reinforce hierarchy and force the defeated rival away from the core territory. In Alaska, at natural bottlenecks such as Brooks Falls, dozens of grizzly bears may gather in the same location. These are among the rare occasions when this normally solitary species tolerates shared space, yet order is maintained through constant, underlying tension. The largest males occupy the most strategic positions where salmon are most likely to leap within reach. A younger or weaker bear that crosses these invisible boundaries, whether intentionally or by mistake, can quickly trigger a defensive response from a dominant individual. Even a brief challenge may be enough to provoke a display of authority and reinforce the existing order. The pressure becomes even greater when a mother is raising cubs. A female weighing around 420 pounds may face an adult male nearly twice her size. She raises her fur blocks the approach and continually guides her cubs away from danger. In those moments, maternal instinct transforms a difference in size into determined resistance. In North America, true power is rarely separated from caution. From late June to early September, cold rivers become vast corridors of survival. Millions of salmon travel hundreds of miles upstream, carrying valuable energy from the ocean down to the forest. For the grizzly bear, this period marks hyperphagia, a phase when the body demands the highest possible daily calorie intake. Before winter arrives, each bear must build fat reserves reaching up to about 5 inches thick beneath the skin. At waterfalls, patience becomes a test of instinct. Grizzlies secure strategic positions where salmon are forced to leap against the current. They remain motionless for long stretches, focusing on every movement within the rushing water. When the opportunity appears, a swift movement of jaws and forelimbs transforms patience into a critical source of survival energy. As salmon numbers begin to decline, grizzlies leave the falls and move toward shallow streams and low riverbeds. There, they often focus on salmon eggs, a concentrated source of nutrition that helps maximize energy intake late in the season. What remains along the shoreline continues to support birds, insects, and enrich the surrounding forest soil. In the natural world, the grizzly bear does more than feed itself. It helps carry energy from the ocean deep into the heart of Alaska's forests. North American forests are layered with damp leaves and patches of fresh grass during early summer. This is also the season when many newborn fawns are concealed deep within dense brush by their mothers. Not yet strong enough to run, they depend on remaining motionless, keeping their bodies low and minimizing scent to avoid detection. Yet the grizzly bear is built to detect even the faintest of these signs. Its ability to follow scent, carried on the wind, combined with short bursts of speed, reaching about 45 miles per hour, allows it to close distance rapidly. When danger moves within only a few feet, the mother often rushes forward, creating noise, or changing direction in an effort to draw attention away from her young. Even so, an experienced grizzly rarely abandons the main trail. It continues investigating berry thickets, fern-covered patches, and fallen logs, where silence itself can become the strongest clue. When the scent leads to a hidden resting place, the bear's experience and acceleration create a decisive advantage. The encounter is often resolved within moments. For a mother, grizzly raising cubs, that outcome represents more than a meal. It becomes a valuable source of energy for the demanding season that lies ahead. When North American forests sink into the grip of winter, the grizzly bear does not endure the season through visible strength across open valleys. It survives through months of careful preparation. Throughout late summer and fall, its body steadily stores energy from berries, root salmon, and other calorie-rich food sources. As snow deepens, the grizzly seeks shelter in ground dens, rock cavities, or wind-protected mountain slopes. Within that darkness, its heart rate can fall below 29 beats per minute, allowing the body to conserve precious energy. For a mother bear, the winter den also becomes the place where new life begins. Cubs are born in silence and kept warm by the constant presence of their mother. When spring opens the forest once again, the grizzly returns as a powerful symbol of resilience and dominance. A close approach awakens the instinct of one of the most formidable predators on the grasslands. But not every target panics and runs. Some rivals are fast and resilient enough to stop that advance. In the wild, authority exists only when it continues to be proven. So when the advantage begins to fade, can the lion still hold its ground? The lion is one of the most powerful and highly social big cats. It lives in structured prides, where females usually lead the rhythm of the hunt, while males focus on protecting territory and maintaining the group's position. In the wild, the lion's hunting success rate often remains below about 35%. Showing that failure is a natural part of survival. The wilderness stays balanced. Even the ruler of the grasslands must face the cost of a single miscalculation. In Africa, the giraffe stands out not only for its height, but for the way it turns its massive body into a living observation tower. Standing over 20 feet tall and weighing around 2,800 pounds, it can detect movement from great distances, often before other animals even sense approaching danger. For lions, it represents a large but high-risk source of energy. A healthy adult is not an easy target to overpower. The pride must spread out, guide its movement, and wait for the moment the giraffe loses rhythm or becomes separated. In the wild, the success rate against this target remains only around 26%, as a single mistake in angle can erase the opportunity completely. When pressured, the giraffe does not panic. It pivots, maintains balance, and uses hind legs nearly 6 feet long to create a defensive zone around itself. Each time the lions hesitate, the balance shifts toward the one maintaining distance. If attention shifts to a calf separated from its mother, the chances may rise to around 46%. But at that moment, the entire group becomes more alert, tightening awareness across the surrounding landscape. The African buffalo stands as a living fortress of the grasslands. Weighing around 1,100 pounds, it is not only a major source of energy within the ecosystem, but also one of the most difficult challenges for lions. This is a world where strength does not stand alone, but remains tied to the discipline of the herd. When the boundary of safety is crossed, buffalo do not scatter. They lower their heavy horns, maintain formation, and can accelerate to about 40 miles per hour in short bursts. A direct impact can generate tremendous force, forcing a predator to quickly adjust its approach. In encounters like these, lions cannot rely on speed alone. They must read the wind, judge distance, and identify openings within the formation. The true strength of the buffalo lies in its protective instinct. When an alert signal spreads, the herd tightens formation, shielding vulnerable members at the center. Adults move into position along the outer line, forming a living wall that forces lions to measure every movement carefully. When the grasslands become still again, the lesson remains. Position is not defined by strength alone, but by unity at the right moment. Across the open grasslands of Africa, African wild dogs do not stand out through size, but through discipline. Each individual typically weighs around 60 pounds, far smaller than an adult lion. In return, they possess endurance, speed, and a level of coordination rarely seen among predators. Between lions and African wild dogs, a tense boundary always exists where a single advance can shift the rhythm of the plains. When a lioness enters the hunting grounds of a wild dog pack, she does not face a single target, but a fast-moving and tightly connected formation. They do not scatter in panic. They spread across multiple directions, maintain safe distance, and take turns applying pressure. A common strategy unfolds as one group distracts from the front, while others push from the sides, forcing the lioness to constantly turn and defend. With sustained speeds of around 38 miles per hour, African wild dogs can maintain pressure long enough to disrupt control of the situation. Each time the lioness moves forward, the formation stretches. Each time she slows, the pressure quickly returns. In the end, the lioness is forced to step back. In the wild, retreat is not always failure. Sometimes, it is the instinct to conserve energy and survive. The rival that makes lions most cautious is not always a massive body, but a system of discipline known as the spotted hyena. Operating within a matriarchal social structure, with clans that can reach around 60 members, each group functions as a unified force, where collective intelligence outweighs individual strength. When they detect lions controlling a contested food source, hyenas do not rush into direct confrontation. They begin with long-range calls, summoning others from multiple directions. Step by step, the formation expands, spreads outward, and creates a ring of pressure around the contested area. Rather than engaging head-on, hyenas wear down the lion's focus through constant vocal signals and short advances. As their numbers increase and collective pressure builds, the lion's control can begin to weaken within moments. Yet, hyenas also read the balance carefully. If the situation shifts against them, the group withdraws in order, preserving strength for another opportunity. In the wild, this is not weakness, but a refined survival instinct, knowing when to advance and when to step back in order to endure. Across the savannas and semi-arid regions of Africa, antelope are not only a vital source of energy, but also a major challenge for lions. In many ecosystems, medium to large ungulates make up a significant part of their diet. But to bring down these animals, lions must overcome speed, formation, and highly alert defensive instincts. In a dry landscape, two hungry young lions test their chances against an oryx weighing around 470 pounds. This antelope stands out with straight horns over 5 feet long, forming a formidable defensive line. When approached, the oryx does not panic. It stamps a warning, angles its horns toward the pressure, and maintains distance through precise inch-by-inch movement. With wildebeest, the challenge takes a different form. When pressured, it does not flee in disorder, but turns, lowers its head, and uses its curved horns as a barrier. A single, well-timed reaction can be enough to force a lion backward, recognizing that control can shift instantly. Even the sable antelope, weighing close to 510 pounds near the water's edge, can turn a moment of drinking into a powerful defensive stance if a lioness approaches from the wrong angle. A small positional miscalculation is enough for the predator to lose its advantage and withdraw. Against such resilient opponents, lions must depend on calculation and patience. On the savanna, survival is not only about escape, it is also about remaining composed at the right moment. Beneath sediment-rich river waters, the Nile crocodile nearly disappears into mud, current, and shadow. At around 20 feet in length, with a bite force of about 5,000 pounds per square inch, it does not need to display power to create pressure. Its advantage lies in silence, patience, and precise timing. Known for ambushes along the river's edge, it creates a constant sense of caution for animals entering shallow water. For a pride of lions, the riverbank is both a necessary stop and a high-risk boundary. In a brief moment while a lion crosses, the surface can erupt from a sudden surge, moving at roughly 36 feet per second. With jaws built for crushing force, the crocodile leaves little room for error. Even when feeding close to the water's edge, lions must remain alert to movement rising quietly from below. While adults may react quickly enough to step back, The curiosity of cubs can rapidly increase the danger. A single misstep on slick mud, or a distance misjudged by only a few inches, can be enough to break balance. In this environment, strength on land is no longer an absolute advantage. The terrain itself begins to reshape control of the encounter. This is not only a contest between strength and ambush. It is a lesson shaped by the environment itself. When the water takes control, even the ruler of the land must recognize when to step back.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You guys are gorgeous.
As the encounter draws to a close, the forest no longer carries its original calm. The grizzly bear moves away slowly, as though every boundary has just been reinforced. The remaining animals seem to understand that power can sometimes exist through presence alone. Nature continues to operate through instinct, distance, and caution. Be sure to like and subscribe to follow more stories from the wild.